What's up guys? So the Xbox Design Lab is back. Sort of. For those of you that don't know, the Xbox Design Lab was a spot on Xbox website that you could custom design a Xbox One controller. You could change all the different colors of the plates, the thumbsticks, bumpers, you name it. You can customize all sorts of stuff on the controller. Then you could place the order and then they would send it to you. So I had been wanting to get a controller through Design Lab for quite some time, and when I was ready to pull the trigger on it, I went over to the website and noticed it was closed for quite a while. And I think this is because they were revamping and making the Design Lab for Xbox Series X and S controllers, as they are a little bit different than the One controllers. But now that it's reopened, I checked it out and I kind of went through the colors, and the reason why I say it's back, sort of, is they kind of have a lackluster selection when it comes to colors of the face plates. They used to have all the different camo colors you could order. You could order different shadow color where it's like a different gradient depending on the color you select. And now they don't really have any of those colors, so I decided to take matters into my own hands, purchase a controller I like, and then customize the thumbsticks, the D-pad, the bumpers, all sorts of stuff, and make the controller my own myself. So I ended up, like I said, I purchased a controller. I already kind of like the faceplate on, and in this case I chose the Winter Forces Xbox One controller. I'm a big fan of the color. I kind of like that it's like a geometric camo, and it's got different whites and grays in it, which looks pretty cool. So we had a good base. I like the faceplate design on it, and it also goes down to the handles as well. But from there, I wanted to take it a step further and customize it more, as in the Design Lab you do have the option to change out the thumbstick colors, the D-pad colors, triggers, bumpers, you name it. They do give you a wide variety of colors to choose from and change those parts up. So I did that as well. So we took the Winter Forces controller, put some different thumbsticks on it, and we also swapped out the triggers and the bumpers. Overall, I think it turned out really good. I love the purple accents on the white. I think it looks really good. So I had never taken apart an Xbox controller before, so this was my first time ever cracking one open and seeing what it's like inside. And it sounds like a daunting task, but it really isn't too bad. I'd say the hardest part is just prying the handles off is probably one of the trickier parts in my opinion. But other than that, it's not too bad, and I didn't go into swapping out the buttons because I really like the clear white ones that this controller came with. But we just did thumbsticks, D-pad, bumpers, the bumper center plate, and then the triggers. But overall, that was all pretty easy. So in this video, I'm going to go through how I went about doing that. So like I mentioned, this is all pretty easy, and the tooling that you need is pretty minimal. It definitely helps if you have more types of prying tools and stuff, so that's why in this video I use my iFixit kit, as it pretty much has everything you need. But as far as those screwdrivers go, you just need a T8 and T6 Torx screwdriver. And a lot of the parts that you buy for the controller, they'll come in like a little kit, and they do include those, which is very nice. Yeah, the thumbsticks that I purchased actually came with some tools. So just if you guys don't have the tools on hand or have something like an iFixit kit, just make sure the parts that you purchase do come with those, as it'll be very helpful and you need them to open up the controller. Alright, let's get started guys. So the first thing I do is clear out the battery compartment, and our first screw to getting into this controller is actually underneath the warranty label inside the battery compartment. So peel that away a little bit to where you can see the screw, and go ahead and remove that screw. For this screw you'll be using the T8 Torx screwdriver, and also for the other four to remove the body and faceplate. Next, you're going to need some sort of prying tool to get the handles off of the controller body. For this, I use the spudger tool from my iFixit kit, along with the opening tool to separate the pieces. Next, you can move on to removing the T8 screws on the four corners of the controller. This will separate the controller base and faceplate. There we go, we are inside the controller. On this part, I only remove the faceplate and leave the bottom of the controller on, just because it gives me something a little bit easier to handle, and I don't have to worry about messing up the circuit board on the back until I need to get to the back. The thumbsticks pull off pretty easy, and depending on which thumbsticks you are reinstalling, they can be a little bit tricky and require a little bit of force, but they just push right on. Next, removing the bumpers, there is a center piece that holds on the main bumpers. That little plastic piece is just hinged on by two little loops, but once you lift those over the pins, it comes right off, and then you can jiggle the bumpers off as well. Then for replacing the bumpers, just kind of do the reverse of what you just did to remove them. Just line up the bumpers properly and put that center plastic plate back on to secure the bumpers. Now for replacing the triggers, this is where I remove the bottom side of the controller because we'll need to get to the triggers. The triggers are latched in and secured with a T6 Torx bit. Remove the T6 screw, and on the other side of the trigger there's just a little slot that helps secure it, and just get the opening over the slot and the trigger will come right off. Repeat the process for putting the triggers back on, and just make sure, I don't know if they're the rumblers or counterweights, just make sure they are seated in properly, and just slide the trigger in over those. The D-pad is nice and easy, it's just held in by this retaining ring, and all you have to do is lift up on the top to remove it from those latches. Lift it up and then you will have access to the D-pad. Go ahead and pop in the new D-pad and put the retaining ring back over it and latch it in. Unfortunately, I guess I wasn't recording when I did the reassembly, but all you have to do is place the internal body into the controller body, put the faceplate on, and use those 4 T8 screws to re-secure it. Basically just repeat the process of how you took it apart. That is going to wrap up this video, guys. Hopefully you found it helpful when it comes to disassembling a Xbox One controller and customizing it and giving it a custom feel to your liking. Although I've always found the Xbox Design Lab to be a super cool tool, I think this is really cool because it gives us that DIY satisfaction of doing it ourselves and doing controller modifications that might not be available in their designer. I really enjoyed doing this, so I'll probably be making a couple other custom controllers here in the near future. If you guys enjoyed the video, make sure to drop a like on it, and if you want to see more tech related videos like this one, be sure to subscribe. As always, guys, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.